What's up, Washco? How's it going? You good? I'm good. We have a fun episode lined up for you today, but first I want to be a dad and brag for a moment. Can I do that? It's my show. I have to. And you're here already, so just stay with me right now. My daughter, Bree Martin, she's a senior at West Bend West, and this past weekend she competed in the Wisconsin High School Powerlifting Association's state championships at the Fox Cities Convention Center in Appleton. She went up against 23 other girls in her weight class and took 8th out of that group. It was the last meet of her high school career. I'm sure she'll tackle some USAPL meets, and she's talked about joining the UW lacrosse powerlifting team when she goes to school in the fall. But it was great to see her lift, and I'm super proud of her. A lot of people ask me what her best lifts are, like how much can she lift, bro? So in powerlifting, you get 3 attempts each at the squat, bench press, and deadlift, and then they take your best lift from each of those 3 and then give you a total. And that's how they judge you. So as a 5'11", 17-year-old girl who weighs about 170 pounds, she can squat 265, bench press 132, and deadlift a whopping 335 pounds. And her best total was combined 715 pounds just a few weeks ago in Germantown. She also won a $1,000 scholarship from the WHSPA for her dedication to the sport and community service. And that's awesome because we have to pay for college coming up. So needless to say, we are very, very, very proud of you, Bree. Congratulations. I've been her coach since she was 13, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to be with her through it all. It was an amazing experience, a lot of fun, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. On this week's episode, I'm speaking with Kewaskum Elementary School Dean of Students and 2nd through 5th grade music teacher Sherry Gerhartz. Mrs. Gerhartz is putting together a cool event called Hobby Day, at which my wife Shanna and I will be talking to students about podcasting. We'll also be teaching kids how podcasts are made, what technology we use to record, and how shows like this end up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. A little bit of warning, there's a little bit of reverb because I literally recorded it in the vice principal's office. So I should have been used to that. I should have had that all figured out. But just so you know, it's a different studio than I'm used to. And with that, here's 15 minutes with Mrs. Gerhartz on 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Mrs. Gerhartz, thanks for having me in today. So before we talk about Hobby Day, I wanted to learn a little bit about you and your role at Kewaskum Elementary School. So first of all, how long have you been here at Kewaskum?
Well, thank you for having me. I have been teaching at Kewaskum since 2001, so I've been here for a few years.
Sure. Your role is as the elementary's Dean of Students. What does a school day look like for you?
Well, the typical school day for me is I am teaching music in the morning for students in 2nd through 5th grade. And then in the afternoon, I have my Dean of Students role. And that role entails addressing any bus incident reports that students may have. It's working with some students individually who are struggling with some behaviors. It's kind of a lot more like an assistant principal.
Okay. So when I came into your office here and there was the chair next to the desk, I had a little bit of memories flashback from when I was in elementary school. So not that I was in the chair that often, but you teach music. How fun is that?
I love teaching music. It's a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy all the different activities, playing games and moving around and playing instruments, all those fun things that we get to do in general music. What
do you love most about your career here at Kewaskum Elementary?
Well, there's basically 2 things. First and foremost, the kids are number one. You know, they always know how to put a smile on your face, and they know how to make the day a challenge sometimes, which is also a really good opportunity for us to experience. And I love the staff that I work with. Everybody is willing to help out. Everybody's hardworking. And this really is like a second family to me when I get to come to work. So I wake up every day and I love being here.
So this week, my wife Shanna and I get to participate in a fun event called Hobby Day. And the invite said it's a PBIS reward day. Now, I am married to a school teacher, so I kind of understand the reference. But for those listening, what is PBIS and how do students earn rewards?
So PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. And we are a school that implements 2 different tiers of that. So our first tier is the basic rules or expectations that we have the students participate in, which is being safe, being responsible, and being respectful. And we teach them the behavior expectations for those 3 areas in all the different areas of the school. And kids will remember this at the beginning of the year and through the videos we show throughout the year that they've learned this in the cafeteria, on the playground, on the bus, in the hallways, in the bathrooms, and then, of course, in all of their classrooms.
All opportunities to reward them for doing something positive, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about Hobby Day. How many families and community members are participating today, and how many students will be participating?
So we're really fortunate to have 8 different businesses or community organizations who are helping to contribute to our Hobby Day. And I'd just like to give them some credit. We have Piggly Wiggly coming in to do cookies. We have the Gift Nook in Kewaskum, who's going to help teach crochet. The West Bend Public Library has donated Legos for us to use. Wendy Dreyer from Huron, Maine is teaching scrapbooking. We have the YMCA coming in to do sports fusion. The Home Depot has donated woodworking projects for that. And Jessica at the Coffee Corner has donated some coffee sleeves that will be used again at the coffee corner once kids have colored them.
Oh, great. That's awesome. That's excellent. And that'll probably be my next stop right after this interview. There are a number of different hobbies that are being represented at the event. What are some of those hobbies that the kids will be learning about today?
In addition to those businesses, we have a few parents coming in, and some of the hobbies they're teaching are origami, ghost investigation. Doesn't that sound cool? And of course, your podcasting. Some other activities that kids are really hyped up about are the cupcake wars.
All right.
And we have a staff member doing that. RC cars, where they get to bring in their own RC car and they'll drive those around.
Sure.
And then, of course, slime making. Slime making is the number one thing that kids have wanted to do.
Excellent. I probably would have participated in slime making myself. So do they just get to do one hobby during the day?
That's correct. So this Hobby Day is for all of our 4K through 5th grade students, and everybody's picking one hobby that they're going to do for that 60-minute time period.
Awesome. If you had your choice, which 3 of the hobbies would you have chosen?
I think ghost investigation does sound pretty interesting, so that would have been one of mine. Dance, because, well, I like music. And then I like the idea of the winter hike.
Okay.
Getting outside is always... it's a good thing.
Yeah. My daughter, who is in 1st grade here, chose tent reading, which I was actually surprised and was actually pleasantly surprised that she wants to do tent reading. So I would have done Lego building for sure, like number one, then probably RC cars, and winter hike would have been cool, or perhaps sports fusion. What do you feel that Hobby Day does for the students here at school?
Well, we hope that it's giving a lot of our students an opportunity to try something new. They get to work with other kids in other grade levels, which is really nice. We have hobbies where we have 4Kers all the way up to 5th grade age kids in that same hobby. So that's a good opportunity to make some connections for our older students, to do some role modeling and just to help out the younger students. And then it just also allows our kids to make connections with businesses and those people in the community. Mm-hmm. And finally, if it's not something that they're willing to try new, we hope that it's something they really enjoy.
Sure, absolutely. And then any big plans for the next PBIS reward?
So our final big PBIS reward is going to be in May, and that is our Grillin' and Chillin' event.
Oh, fun. Okay. And then what happens at that event?
So the kids, we have a cookout with our lunch program, and in the past, students have been able to bring their bikes, they've been able to bring scooters, and they can color outside with chalk, they can read outside, or we let some of the kids go over to the high school track and run around the track.
Great. Well, let me know if you need somebody on the grill. That's one of my hobbies. So
Great.
Mrs. Gerhartz, thanks for joining me on 15 Minutes with Fuzz today, and have fun at Hobby Day.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Mrs. Gerhartz for having us in for Hobby Day and for coming on the show today. Mrs. Martin is joining me right now in the studio. What has been your favorite PBIS reward day that you've ever had at a school that you've taught at?
I would have to say one of my favorite days was when I was in a school that was close to a bowling alley.
Yeah.
So we took like the whole school bowling at separate times for grade levels. But
Sure.
that was pretty cool because it was in walking distance, and
That's fun.
we walked and we went bowling, and it was something that we didn't do very, often. So
Sure.
it was fun.
If you were going to participate in Hobby Day at KES, what hobby would you have chosen?
There's so many to pick from. They look just so fun. I would have to say either like there was cupcake decorating, there's cookie decorating, or there's Lego building, or like shrinky dink making. So I would probably have a hard time making a decision.
Yeah, I would have said Lego building, number
Yeah.
one. So are you ready to teach kids about podcasting?
I'm so excited to teach these like younger kids about podcasting. I teach middle school all of the time.
Then let's get to it. Thanks for listening to 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we'll talk to you next week, right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz.